Hey coin collectors, Dan the Collecting Man here. Today we're going to talk about gold versus silver. What are some of the pros and cons, what I would do, and just go through a bit more of the kind of evidence between the both of them and which ones I'll pick and how much I'll put into each one, and also what is the best ones to buy from my perspective. So let's start off with silver. What is the best silver to buy? What is some of the most liquid, probably safest and better investment to look for if you're starting or looking to build your stack when it comes to silver? So for me, I always personally like to make sure I've got some government minted silver. So that for me is something that's probably the best and safest to own. Yes, you do pay a little bit of premium on top of your silver, but at least from probably a more liquid and safety point of view, you do have that easier option to sell it. And no matter what country you go to, people are going to recognize the silver and know that it's safe to sell. So definitely for me, I do like having the government minted. Probably one of my favorites is the Canadian maple. Love having these maples. They're really good quality. So you definitely, yes, you pay for the premium on it, but you do get the quality from it. From an Australian point of view, definitely having the kangaroo, because you don't have the as much higher premiums, because obviously you're not paying as much for postage compared to some other countries. So they're the two that I personally pick. I also like getting some silver rounds, so I definitely like getting your buffaloes. Is probably the key one that I always like to get. I find the buffaloes are probably the best ones from a silver cheap point of view and more recognizable. Often these are made at private mints, so it is easier for these to be faked. So that's where the government minted, it's a bit harder and a bit more compliance around that, where it is harder for these to be fake, or easier for these to be faked. So just buyer beware. Definitely don't buy them off eBay. Look for recognizable, safe sellers when you're buying these kind of coins. The next one is bars. So I do like getting some nice big chunky bars of silver. This is a nice 10 ounce from the Scottsdale Mint out of the US. So a nice bit of silver. I like these kind of non-perfect silver bars. I find them a bit nicer to look at. Probably from a bit more of a higher premium. The Germanium Mint bars are pretty good. So this is a 100 gram bar from the Germanium Mint. They're really, really good. And there's a couple of other cool bars out of the Scottsdale Mint on top of that. So, and then lastly, you have your pre-decimal here in Australia. So this is almost like what you used to call the junk silver. These are 80% silver, 50-cent coins. So 3 of these and you've got yourself an ounce of silver. So these are pretty good ones to have and nice and cheap from that standpoint. And golds, I personally like having your government minted ones. So I normally go for these kind of ones. So this is your Britannia 110 ounce. So I personally prefer a little bit of the fractional because it isn't as expensive to buy. So yes, you do pay a little bit more premium, but they're kind of a little bit more liquid and easy to sell. I find having a whole ounce of silver at over 3 grand Australian to on sell it is a little bit harder, where with these smaller ones, it's only $300 to $400, $500. This is one that I bought way back in 2002 for 100 Australian dollars. So this was one of the first proof ones that came out of the Perth Mint. Really cool to have. And now it's worth at least $500-600 because they were very limited. They only made a few hundred or so, so there wasn't many produced in that point of view. The next, sometimes I do get some of these other really small ones, so I do like getting like these ones. This is the Coronation one, so any of these special proof. Here's another proof 1/10 from the Perth Mint. So for me, as you can see, I get a lot from the Perth Mint from a cost point of view in Australia, and they make some beautiful stuff. So I definitely love some of the stuff that the Perth Mint do. So I do predominantly get that. I sometimes get these. These are extremely high premium. This is a 1/40th ounce proof gold. So definitely paying some pretty high premium on this, but this is going to become quite collectible. So only just over 2,000 of these were made, and as you can see, it's got the king coronation proof coin, and it's a pretty cool coin with the design. So do like having those higher premium kind of proof versions, because they can be quite collectible, and as you see over time they can give you amazing returns. So next, what are some of the pros of gold and silver? So I think with silver right now, it is still quite affordable. So you're looking at around $40 or $37 an ounce right now for an ounce of silver. Obviously, you've got your premiums on top of that, but it's still quite affordable. If you look at when you're getting something like this, you can still afford a kilo of silver pretty comfortably right now. So this cost me about a month ago, 1,237, and silver has gone up a little bit since then. So this is now worth 1,320 on the day of filming. So it's definitely already gone up quite a bit. So I've definitely paid for my postage, and I'm pretty comfortable that these are going to go up a lot more. I think another great thing with silver is the gold versus silver ratio is around 90%. So that means for every ounce of gold, it costs you 90 ounces of silver. So at the moment, it's definitely quite low. Normally you want it around 50-60, so that means the silver is quite undervalued, which is a good thing. Silver is definitely more accessible, so it's easier to get and obtained. It can be used for barter a little bit easier from that point of view. So for me, silver is definitely a good cheap buy right now. And I think silver, from a price point of view, if silver doubled in price overnight, people wouldn't be too concerned. They'd think, oh, it's just been undervalued and it's finally hitting its price. Where you can imagine if gold doubled in price right now, people would be like, oh my goodness, that is just crazy. So that kind of doubling of price wouldn't be scary as for so many people, because it is quite undervalued, where gold would show that there's definitely, because it's already at its all-time high right now, where silver is quite a bit off its all-time high. So it just shows that silver is a little bit undervalued. And there's obviously more industries that use silver. Where gold has been hunted by humans for absolutely centuries. So probably almost 1,000 plus years, gold has been hunted and looked for. Gold personifies wealth. So if you have gold, it's shown that you're a wealthy person. So people do like to have gold to show that they have a bit of wealth. You find that the currency of most banks are normally gold. So they often have gold in their vaults. That's showing that they are protecting their wealth with gold, and they'll never find any silver in the bank vault. It's always gold. So governments and banks often use it to protect their wealth and value. And you'll find that from a tax point of view, you'll get less taxes when it comes to gold versus silver. So definitely, where sometimes silver, it's normally depending on what kind of, if it's government minted in the country, where gold can be a little bit more flexible from that standpoint. And then lastly, some of the cons. So I think sometimes with silver, like I said, there can be some taxes on there. You do find that there is a few fakes being made. So already 2024, I've already got fake silver eagles. So they can make them pretty quickly and very easily. So you have to be careful of that. I think also with silver, the market is very volatile. So it could, yes, double in price at a certain point, but it could easily halve. So it is a lot more, almost, I wouldn't call it crypto, but it does have that more volatile market. So it's definitely, from an investment standpoint, it can be a little bit up and down, where gold, you do see it just slowly goes up over time. So as we can see, we're up at an all-time high right now, but there's nothing really going to stop it. So it could keep going over time. But I think the other thing with gold, from a con point of view, it's just that high price, $3,000+ for an ounce of gold, and knowing that it's that's a lot of money to invest in a small coin. That does feel like a lot of money, but like I said, I've invested only $100 into that, and now it's already worth $500-600 in its gold value. That's definitely showing that it can give you returns, but you have to be very, very patient when it comes to gold. So just make sure you look after yourself. Now, I think for my future, I think over the last year, especially since I've created this YouTube channel, I've probably invested more into silver, trying to buy all these kind of cool coins and bars and things for the channel. So I've got some pretty neat things to show off. But from a stacking standpoint, I definitely want to focus and move towards the gold. I think that's definitely going to be a safer option and something really good to look for my investment in the future. So definitely things I'm going to look for is probably spending 60% of my salary on gold, or of my savings onto gold, and then 40% into silver. So if I had $1,000 roughly, I'd put 600 into some gold and then 400 into silver, just to keep that savings going, and to look at, I might look at selling some of the silver soon and put that into gold, just to bolster up my gold stack, because I don't really have as much gold as I would like, and I'm getting pretty comfortable with my silver stack right now. So I'm more buying stuff because I like the design of it. I'm not buying it now to bolster up my stack. I'd love to know what you think. You're a gold stacker or silver stacker, or what's your favorite? What kind of ratios do you look to stack your stack in? Is there any other type of gold you like? Do you like your sovereigns as well? Sovereigns are definitely another great one to have as part of your stack. So please let me know. If you enjoyed this video, please click subscribe to support my little growing channel. Thanks so much for watching and joining the coin collecting community. I'll catch you in my next video. Dan.